Yo, welcome. For those of you who know me, you might know me as one third of the world's favorite podcast. To get back for my new viewers, my name is Naj Houston, and I want to introduce you all to my new show, The Naj Lounge, where culture meets conversation. Today, we are bringing you one of my new segments to the show. It's called The Next Wave Interview, where I interview new creatives and give them a platform to introduce themselves to the world. Today, we got somebody that I've known for a long time. I mean, absolute long time. He's a very artistic young man. Known him since we was what, sixth
A
grade?
kid,
Sixth
yeah,
grade since we was
yeah.
kids. Since we was kids, we've been doing this. So I want to introduce you all to my homie, my brother, Jonathan.
Yo, yo. What up,
Man,
bro?
how you feeling? How you feeling?
Chilling, man. You good?
Yeah, man. I can't complain.
Yeah,
Can't complain as always. Hey, what I usually say, every day that God wake me up is a good day.
for
You know
sure,
what I'm saying? Every day.
for
So
sure.
definitely can't complain, man. So, I got you on the show today and I really want to start at the beginning because me and you, we've always kind of had like music conversations. Ever
hmm
since I've known you, me and you have always had artistic conversations about things, whether it be music, clothes, movies, whatever. And I know that you are heavily interested in music.
hmm
So I want to start at the beginning and I want to kind of get to know what started that for you. Like what started that interest in music or just overall artistic creative your process in general.
Oh man, music. I feel like I feel like I was like born and raised into music. My grandfather, he was a singer. My mom was a singer, so I was always raised around people that will always sing.
Mhm.
So I was yeah. So my yeah. So they influenced me into singing. So that's like where it started. All of it.
Now when you say they influenced you into singing, was this something that you kind of looked at as like a hobby, and then it was just like, or did it start out as a hobby and then it grew into like more of a passion, or is it something that you've always looked at, man, like, you know what, I want to take this to a level where I can start, trying to make my way into the music industry?
Oh man, that's a good question. Um, I never looked at it as like it could be a hobby.
Hmm.
It was I don't I it like it all came with my age. It's
Hmm.
like it all started with my age. You know what I'm saying? Like I never when I was younger, never looked at it as a hobby. And
Hmm.
as I continue to grow, I think that's when it all started. I was like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can honestly do this. So like my mom, she would always be like, if you want to do it, like go ahead. So it was like little like baby steps. It's like, to sing you gotta have a story.
Right.
You gotta have a story.
Right.
Um, so for sure, yeah. Oh man.
Now you mentioned to sing you have to have a story.
Uh-huh.
And that brings me to something that I've been, thinking about when it comes to music lately. Is that a lot of music is lacking that
Mm-hmm.
story.
Mm-hmm.
Story is lacking soul, is lacking purpose
Mm-hmm.
right now. We're now in an age of music where there isn't really any substance to what we're
Right.
listening to.
Mm-hmm.
And actually recently I seen Timbaland say like a lot of music hasn't caught his eye because it lacks that type of soul.
Exactly, yeah.
So in your opinion, what do you feel like like what do you feel like we need to do to regain that substance in our music that makes us look 5, 10, 20 years later down the line and we still bumping these songs like they came out yesterday? What do you feel like we
Mm.
need to do to get that back?
like like with like industry people, they all have like a writing team.
Mhm.
They all have a writing team. So they telling you based off, what they're going through.
Mhm.
And like I feel like you gotta bring back R&B.
Absolutely.
R&B.
Absolutely.
R&B.
Absolutely. I feel like it's a lot of people,
Mhm.
like it's a lot of underground people
Mhm.
with R&B right now. So if it's some good R&B out there for sure.
Mhm.
But I do feel like in the modernized R&B that we listen to, um like you said, it's like it's a lot of writing teams and it's a
Yeah.
lot of buzzwords.
Mhm.
So it's like, the writing team is all writing from the perspective of buzzwords like
Yeah.
what's gonna get the kids going, what do the
Yeah.
kids want to hear, what do
Mhm.
the young adults want to hear, what's happening in their lives. As to where I feel like a lot of the R&B that we came to love was all based on what was actually happening
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
artist's life.
Mhm.
So as an artist yourself, what do you feel like you want to add to like your music, or what do you feel like you already have in your music that can establish that connection with a fan base?
I feel like I already got I got a story.
Mm,
I got a story. And majority of all my music is heartbreaks.
mm,
It all starts with like a heartbreak. So yeah, bro. So it all start with like a heartbreak. So it's like, and I don't necessarily like go out my way to like make sure people like can say certain words or
mm,
try to like say a certain lingo to have people understand.
mm,
It's I just go based off like what I've been through, what I'm feeling, and what I experienced
mm.
in my life.
And do you feel like that type of example, because you're using your own personal
Hmm.
stories as an example, do you feel like that is a how I want to put it, like the substance of those stories, do you feel like that is like something that you want to continue to use as you get
Mm.
bigger? Do you feel like that's something you want to continue to use to try to captivate fans, or do you feel like it's a method to the madness of kind of like, you know what I'm saying, also right in front of the perspective of what's popular in music today?
Mm. I usually like to stay in my own lane, so it's for sure a material that I keep using. Sometimes it sucks because like you already healed
Mm,
from certain situations, but you have to go back and you have to pick with those healed wounds, and it gets so draining. That's why I kind of sort of be hesitant about making music or continue to make music, because it's like once God already healed me from that situation, I gotta go back and
mm.
I gotta make a song to this. So it's 50-50. It's 50-50, honestly, read it like with this. If I was to like get famous, I would probably experience a writing team, but as of right now, it's for sure like a material that I'll keep using.
Yeah, and I think that that's a very like unexplained part of the process.
Hmm.
Like a lot of times I feel like people look at that as like, it's art therapy.
Yeah.
You taking past, like in your case, heartbreaks, and you're putting it into your music. But we don't, obviously that's an insider like term. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't share how they write or
Mhm.
what they use to write. But a lot of people also, because we don't get that perspective, we also don't get to hear about how it kind of puts you back in that
Oh, man.
energy,
Yeah.
that you already did
Mhm.
heal from. So
Mhm.
like every single time you got to perform that song,
Yeah.
every single time you got to try to push or promote that song, it's bringing you back to this situation that you tried to heal from
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's interesting that you say that it makes you contemplate
Mhm.
with your music, because to us it's just like, man, you just putting it out,
Mhm.
like just put it out, it's your
Yeah.
experience, just put it out. But we don't really kind of take the time to look at how it affects the psyche.
Yeah.
Because I've heard of certain artists be like, man, I just can't perform this song no more,
Mhm.
just simply
Mhm.
because of what's attached to it.
Yeah.
So I guess, like you said, it's 50-50. It is kind of like a double-edged sword
Mhm.
when you constantly use your personal stories
Yeah.
in your music. So I guess, in a way, that is what makes music powerful.
Yeah. For
Um, you
sure.
know, and as an artist, what do you feel like what do you feel like is new that you want to bring
Mhm.
to the game in itself? Like I said, it's very dried out right now to me.
Yeah.
So, I feel like we're all looking for a new refreshing feeling. So what is something new that you can bring to the music industry?
Um, genuinely like love real R&B, real R&B. It's like I compare like I compare music
Mm,
to food.
mhm,
You know, the music that we're getting now is all fast food music.
mm,
I want my audience, I want the people that listen to my music to understand what I'm saying. Now, I don't want to necessarily say feel, but feel what I'm feeling. Understand like where I'm coming from. So, and I compare that to steak.
Mm,
You want a steak, you want that steak to be nice, cooked well to your perfection. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to give anybody garbage. The
yeah.
music that we get into is garbage, and you never know with the music now that we're listening to, you never know their agendas and their
Right.
intentions to that music that we're listening to. So with me, I want to give just straight, pure, genuine music.
Mm,
So there's no agendas besides this is what I'm experiencing, this is what I experienced, this is what I went through. And like if you can relate, if it's accurate, play the shit out of that song. You know what I'm saying?
hell yeah, I fuck with that because I definitely feel like the fast food analogy is perfect. I
Hmm.
also like to look at it like a quality versus quantity thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because do you consider yourself a more of a quality or quantity artist?
Ooh.
Because it's some artists, like some of my favorite artists in R&B,
Hmm.
man, I be begging for them to drop,
Yeah.
but also the process to them is just like, I want to take my time and
Yeah.
craft something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you got artists that are great artists
Yeah.
and they also drop a lot.
Hmm.
So it's like, do you feel like you're a quality or a quantity artist, or do you feel like it's a way to be both?
It's for sure a way to be both.
Mhm,
It's a way to be both. Like so, for example, like with my music, if you ever paid attention to like to my music, if I'm no in social media, if I'm too quiet, that means I'm working. I'm working on something.
mhm,
Um, but it's like it's about the build up. It's about the build up. So
mhm.
it's like with my life, it's all it's like a timeline. Like everything has a time to it. So I have to build that build up. I have to have people like under like get excited to what I'm about to drop. And I also do it by seasons of
Mhm.
like how I'm feeling. So who doesn't want new music during the summer?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna build that up in the fall, spring, maybe fall going to the spring.
Mhm.
I'm gonna build that up, have people get excited for it, and then once I drop it, it's gonna be like a whole different vibe, like a whole different sound. And that's one thing that I aim at, a different vibe. Like I have to give you a different vibe. So I can't give you music if it sounds exactly how it sounded in my last project that I dropped.
Right.
So different pitch of my voice, different different beats that I select, different meaning of what this song or EP, mixtape, album, whatever I choose to drop, it has to have a different meaning and it has to have a theme.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it's for sure a way to be both. Yeah.
Okay, because I feel like, especially when I listen to your music, I feel like you have a distinct sound
Mm.
that you experiment with,
Mhm.
and then you also are, in a way, you're using that distinct sound and
Yeah.
also finding the substance.
Mhm.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So your
Yeah.
your music to me is very experimentative. Like,
Thank you.
I feel like it's unique, it's
Yeah.
distinct. So, you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? I don't hear a lot of people utilizing that
Mhm.
sound and also trying to popularize it. Cause you have some people when they get a niche sound, when they get
Yeah.
a sound that's distinct,
Mhm.
they just do what they can to capitalize on that sound
Yeah.
and keep it to,
Mhm.
like, that's how people build like cult fan
Yeah.
bases.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it'd be hard for those type of artists to, kind of expand their fan
Mhm.
base and get into the actual, like, meat of it. Like when we see
Yeah.
them at the BET Awards or
Yeah.
when we see them at the Grammys. Like, so to me, I want to kind of hear how you figure out your sound, like your sound process. Like, what is that process like for you? Because you could easily just do what, 10 to 15 other artists are
Yeah.
doing and try to, fit into that crowd
Mhm.
to make your name bigger. But you taking the time out to kind of craft a sound. So
Mhm.
what was that process like?
Oh my goodness, the process. So first, so it all started back in the pandemic,
Mhm,
COVID era. I'm not gonna lie, I was understanding who I was. I was trying to understand, okay, like what sound do I go to? So it progressed, getting to know who you are.
Mm.
Um, and that's like listen to your songs about like 50 times to see if it's good or not. So
Mm.
when I first started, I didn't drop none of the shit that I made. I was like, man, this shit's trash, bro.
Right, right,
I was like, bro,
right.
this shit's trash.
Everybody, we all do that. Any
Yeah.
type of creative, I promise you, like we stock the first couple,
Yeah.
we gonna stock it. We gonna stock it, and we gonna be like, man, I ain't putting this shit out. They gonna be on my
Yeah.
ass. So continue though.
So, um, and it's another thing, taking notes
Mm.
from your artists of who you look up to. So or who inspires you. So that's Mike, Chris Brown,
Mm.
Tory, um, I think T Pain, Missy
Yeah,
Elliott,
I could definitely a lot T-Pain.
man. So I took certain things, not certain things, but I took notes of
Yeah.
what they of how they sound
Mm.
when they make music. So the unique style that I had, it was hard to get to, but then again, it go back to like the things that I experienced. So before I drop a project, I have to go back and listen to the old project
Mm.
to make sure it sounds nothing like nothing that I'm making. Cause you have an artist where they make songs and they sound exactly how they sounded on their EP or their album.
Right.
With me,
Facts.
I try my best to like be different be different from what I've dropped. So it's literally be me versus me.
Right.
I'm making sure I don't say the same shit that I said in my last project. I'm making sure that I don't sound how I sounded in my last project. I'm making sure that the theme is not how it was in the last project. So me getting to my unique style, um, it's all I feel like experience of how what I was going through.
Mm.
That's what brought that different unique style out of me. Like my brother was listening to like my project, and he was like, "Well, this project right here sounds completely different from your other project." I dropped the project, "Victims of Love."
Mm.
This the two. I dropped "Victims of Love" too. I dropped that around January. Um, and that experience of me making that song, of making them songs, was like so painful. It was very, 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 very painful. But when we went back and we listened to the very first time we dropped "Victims of Love," it was like a whole different theme, whole different vibe. That "Victims of Love," the title of it is "We All Are Victims of Love," but
Mm.
what built that up was me experiencing love. I was in a relationship when I made that. Oh, well, no, I was getting into a relationship when I made that. So it was all good songs, fun songs,
Mm.
meaningful songs. When I dropped "Victims of Love" too, it was now that's self-explanatory. It was "Victims of Love." I am a victim of love. I'm telling you, this is what I'm going through. Because prior to that, I didn't drop any songs. I was like going through it during the summer.
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? All right, this is what I'm making. These are the songs that I'm making. And if you listen to it, you can kind of sort of hear the pain and the experience that I was going through. So, so it's just all leads back to like what you're going through. I feel like when you go through something, that's when you find out who you really are.
Right. And you mentioned something about crafting your sound.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it's kind of like going back and listening to people that inspire you.
Yeah.
I know I heard you mention like Chris,
Yeah.
T Pain,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm somebody like in my creative process. I've kind of have to be the opposite. I can't
Mm.
watch too much of something or
Yeah.
listen to too much of something because it'll flood my creation.
That's true.
Like if I watch a movie and I'm going to go write a script,
Mm-hmm.
I can't watch this movie because my script will be reflective of what I just saw because I
Uh-huh.
liked what I saw or I
Yeah.
liked what I heard. And a lot of times I feel like in music we hear that a lot. Like a lot of artists they're inspired
Mm-hmm.
and then the inspiration kind of takes over like their own unique project.
That's true.
So what do you feel like? you do to kind of, yes, take inspiration from these artists who sound you enjoy? What do you feel like you do to kind of not let that bleed too much into your sound though, like
Oh.
into your music?
Um, so it goes back to listening to my music,
Mhm,
making sure it sounds different
mhm,
to what on the project that I'm working on. To it don't even mean necessarily be purposely going back and listening to listen. It just be a moment where my brothers will play a song and I'm like, oh, I like that sound, or I
right.
like that flow or that chorus that they did. So I listen to it. All right, cool. Then I go tackle, or I go not steal, but like take notes, pinch just a little bit and listen to
Mhm,
that. Then I take a break and it's a gap. So now it's like, all right, since it's like a test, it's like a pop quiz and test. You work so
yeah.
hard, you taking a test, you're studying what you're about to do, or you know what I'm saying? And before that test, it's a gap. You're not
Mhm,
studying all the time. You're not gonna study leading up to that test. Is so I take a gap, I take a break from listening to that artist. Or yeah, listen to that artist and go right into the studio. And it's like, all right, cool. So now it's like a fresh brain, fresh thought. I have a better creative way of how to do that chorus or hit that certain note in that.
mhm,
So yeah, so it's like a so I take like a it's not a big ass gap, but it's like I take a day out of the studio from listening to what I listen to and learning and
mhm.
suck. I don't want to use that word.
Yeah, man,
I don't
come
want
on,
to.
man.
I don't want to use
Come on, man.
soaking up
Yeah,
what I
there we
listen
go.
to there. Soaking up what I listen to, and then a day or two I don't be in the studio,
Mhm,
and then I go right into the studio, and then I'm like, all right, cool. If they did this, I can do that, or I can do it in my same way, because I have to always shape it up in my way. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? To be like, oh, that sound like them. Nah, I want it to be like, oh, that sounds like you. That's how you shaped it up.
Right. And on the flip side of that though, right? Because even though it can flood your process,
Mm-hmm.
what when you listen to these artists, what are you listening to kind of take away to help engineer a sound? Are you listening for voice inflection?
Mm-hmm.
Are you listening for word choice or scheme and
Mm-hmm.
how they, write their choruses, verses, like, you know what I'm saying? What do you listen for to kind of be like, oh, you know what? I want to experiment with that.
Yeah. Um, I for sure look for voice.
Mhm,
Um, how did they adjust their fuck it? It's not a secret. Their auto tune.
mhm.
How did they adjust it? Is a new way, because they can do auto tune where it blends in with your voice to the point you don't know they're using auto tune, and then
Yeah.
sometimes they do it just to make it obvious because it just sounds right with the beat or with the songs that they're doing. So I look for voice, I look for
Mhm,
storytelling, and I don't sort of look for chorus. I feel like that's the big thing in for the song.
mhm.
It's the chorus. So I want people to more to me, the chorus is the major thing that I have to aim at in my songs.
Yeah.
Cause the chorus it goes you repeating it like at least 2 or 3 times in your
Yeah,
songs.
yeah,
If
facts,
that
facts. Well, nowadays, shit,
they don't
it'd be one chorus, then the verse, and you know what I'm saying, it's
and
over
then it's
with.
the outro.
Them songs, they be like a minute 30 seconds. So,
Oh
so
fuck.
that's kind of like a lost art in the I would say in the in music now.
Yeah.
Also, like we don't have bridges no more. Like you love
They
R&B,
don't.
we don't got
They
bridges no
don't.
more.
Nah,
Bridges, them
yeah.
breakdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you like Boys to Men,
Oh
like
yeah.
Wanye Morris, like them breakdowns, them bridges,
Mm-hmm.
legendary. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? Them
man.
parts of the song where he started going crazy, like we don't have those. And I
Mm-hmm.
also feel like those are a part of the emotional connection that people have to these songs that make them feel so ultra important to
Mm-hmm.
us. So I want to play a little game. Well, it's one of the segments of the show. It's called Breakthrough Moment.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you maybe like one or two questions, you know what
Bet.
I'm saying, about your breakthrough moment into your artistry.
Okay.
Um, my first question is, what was the song that sparked your musical journey? I feel like we all have one song that when we first heard it, it made us feel like, especially if you love like want to do music, I
Yeah.
feel like we all have that one song that sparked us to feel like we could either be a rapper or a singer, and
Yeah.
like when it come on, it's like, oh, like this is my song. Like,
Uh-huh.
what's that song for you?
Oh man. Fuck.
I
Mm,
know it's a lot of songs, man.
it's
It's
a
a lot
lot
of
of
songs we
songs,
listen to,
man.
but I feel like every person has that one.
I'ma say, mm, that's a hard one, bro. I'ma say Michael Jackson. Mm,
Come on, I'm a big MJ fan, so come
I'ma
on.
say Michael Jackson. You rock, yeah, rock my world,
Yeah,
rock my world,
that's a hey.
and Ghost, Ghost.
Those are some dope bigs. Those are tough. That's tough.
Yeah, that's
Cause you
just
know what,
tough.
you rock my world sonically
Mm,
is like sonically the song is tough. I don't hear a lot of people say
yeah,
that they really like it as like a inspirational song. So that's actually surprising to hear from me
yeah,
because
man.
sonically the song is great.
It's fire. Yeah,
Sonically the song is great.
that
It's
shit
one of
cold.
Michael Jackson's greatest songs in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never heard anybody say like, man, this moved them, this inspired them. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
actually an
man.
interesting choice. Ghost too.
Yeah, Ghost,
Ghost too.
man.
And
Ghost.
the
The
video
video,
is great as
man.
well. And another question that I want to ask. Well actually, it's not even more so of a question. Well, it's not a question for breakthrough moment.
Right.
It's just something that I want to make sure I ask you before we got up out of here,
Mm-hmm.
which was, what's up with the clothes, man?
The
What's up
clothes.
with the clothes, man?
We Camo Sin.
Come on, saying.
I've been talking about that shit for the longest.
Yeah.
So I'm for sure working. We for sure working on it. We got it's gonna be fire, bro. When I tell you, oh man, I don't want to give you too much
Mm.
details, but I'm for sure working on it. I have a guy. Shout out to Freddie. Freddie, he's a very creative person,
Mm.
and he has a clothing line. And I just feel like God is leading me. God is
Yeah,
leading me to the exact
absolutely.
people that I need to be surrounding me for certain situations. So for the clothing line, I'm working with Freddie. He's giving me ideas. I'm throwing him ideas. He has a certain style that that he wears. Cause when it come down to clothing, I have to study. Like I study. Like when Kanye West say like this shit is like you don't know shit about clothes. Like he's dead ass. He's dead ass. So Camel saying I wanna drop it around the summertime.
Mm.
The summertime. But it's just the process, man. I be so picky with my clothes, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's
For sure.
like
For sure.
oversized t-shirts.
I know that for a fact because going back to like our junior year,
Yeah.
me and you have been like trading the concepts
Mm-hmm.
of our clothing line
Mm-hmm.
ideas.
He used to put
So
that shit on. He used
so
to put that shit on.
so nah, don't don't hype me up, bro. Don't
You
hype me
put
up, bro.
that shit
I ain't
on.
put nothing on, bro.
But it's like
I ain't put nothing on,
when you
bro.
you gotta look at it like back then when we look at the way that we dressed, we'd be like, man, this shit cringy. But you stuck to that modern at that time, that modern day dress. So you have
Yes,
to
somebody did. I've heard people say that I had an interesting way
yeah.
of wearing stuff. At first, like when I was that age, I thought it was like, man, like damn, you know what I'm saying? My bad. But now that I look back on it, it's like it's good to be different. So definitely, that experimentation with style.
Mm-hmm.
But like even like our first logos that we was talking about, like
That's
we was talking
right.
about that on
That's
Instagram DM,
right.
like, hey, you send me your logo, I sent you
Mm-hmm.
mine, and then like even the advanced logos. Like so
Mm-hmm.
when we sat down and we really have like discussed like art, we always talked about our artistic taste
Yeah.
in things.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I could always say is like me and you when it come to like art and like clothes, music, like that is something that we stay talking about. You know, so even R&B, because I'm
Yeah.
a Omarion
Yeah.
guy. You like Chris
You a Marion
Brown?
guy?
I'm a Omarion guy,
Yeah.
bro. That's my boy. He be going crazy, but I wish he one of those guys. I wish like release like more
More music.
frequently. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we've always sat down. And we've always talked about these things, these
Mm-hmm.
interests. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying of ours. So in that case, before we get up out of here,
Mm-hmm.
another segment that we do on our show is called "In Your Own Words."
Okay.
So in your own words, the floor is yours.
Mhm.
Take about 2-3 minutes, you know what I'm saying, or however long you need to.
Okay.
I want you in your own words to break down who you are as an artist to the
Mm.
viewers at home
Mhm.
and what they can be looking for from
Okay.
from you.
Yeah.
And any new releases, anything that's up and coming from Jonathan. Explain to these people who you are.
Let me see. Damn, that's tough, bro. Uh, well, I'm gonna go straight to like for the all right. New music is coming. New music is coming. I have a new song. Well, I have a new project with. He gonna get mad. He gonna get mad if I say his real name. But I got a new project with Sean. It's called Sin City. It's a small. It's like a 7 track. That's not an EP, is it?
It can be.
It can
It
be.
can be.
All right, a 7 track EP. It's a 7 track EP. Um, New songs after that. I'm working on so much shit. I'm working on so much shit. We got songs with Sean, Sin City. I have a project with Freddie. We're dropping a couple of songs of that. I got a couple of singles that I'm dropping as well. Camo Sin is finally up in production. So we're gonna be dropping that. You finna see some new clothes,
About
new
time. Make sure you send me
hoodies,
some stuff. I'll
new
wear it.
shirts.
I'll wear
Yeah,
it on here. You
I'm
know,
saying
plug
you
me some stuff,
I'm
man.
saying yeah, I got you
Plug
for
me with some
sure.
stuff for sure.
But I don't use this word as much, but OB. I can literally describe myself as OB. OB is an outer body emotional experience.
Mm.
So any songs that I give you is based off outer body emotional experience, which is heartbreaks, it circles around heartbreaks. So when you listen to my songs, so don't be like, oh, I'm gonna be on that ride wave shit, and I give you a
For
bunch
sure.
of sad songs. I'm gonna give you some good songs. I'm gonna give you some sad songs, songs you can relate to, summer songs. I'm literally like a multiverse. I'm very versatile when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to my songs. So just look forward to a bunch of songs. You know, when the summertime come, I drop as much fun songs as I can to get people in that good feeling. So just look forward to our outer body emotional experience with me.
Obi. I like
OB.
that. I like
Thank you,
that. I
man.
like that.
Thank you.
I mess with that. Oh man, tell the people where they can find music, any
Oh,
socials.
yeah. So if you're new, I know if you're new, you can look for me at Instagram, JS44 JAYUZ. Same thing with Apple Music, JAYUZ, JAYUZ. It's on all my songs on all platforms, Apple Music, Spotify. How you pronounce it?
Title.
Title.
Don't nobody use title like that
No,
no more. I don't think.
I thought you
But
did.
I don't.
No,
Well, I'm
are
on
you a
Spotify.
Spotify
I'm on
guy?
Spotify,
Oh,
bro.
okay, yeah,
I'm on
that makes
Spotify.
sense. I gotta. I'm really. Yeah. Mhm.
Spotify, come holla at me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it.
Spotify
About
title.
it everywhere, every
Hey,
platform.
like you said, you catch them Jayuz.
Hmm.
All right, man. I want to say, man, I really appreciate you being on my first ever episode of
I
this.
appreciate you, man. I
Like,
appreciate you.
bro, it's my first ever episode. You know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate having a guest that I'm comfortable with,
Hmm.
and that I have such a history with, and that I can actually sit down, we can talk to, and you know what I'm saying. I definitely want to always invite you back to come on this
Of course,
platform
man.
anytime you got anything new that you
Hmm.
want to talk about. You are more than welcome. Like I said, I appreciate you, man, for being on my first ever episode. Even
Mm.
though I messed up my intro, but we gonna get that together.
Hit that shit like 3 times. Nah, man. I
We-
appreciate you, bro. Thank you for having me.
oh man, always,
I got some shit. It's mine. If you watching this shit, it's cool.
man. Y'all be on the lookout for my man's new stuff, man. Appreciate y'all for sitting with us on the new episode, on the first episode of the Next Wave interviews. We'll catch you next time.
When you feel, I feel so deep. I dream.